Hello, I'm Dickon Towns, Technical Architect for the Senate, and here today to talk to you about 5 steps to optimise your professional knowledge sharing.
And I'm Tamsin Ogilvie, UX Strategy for the Senate. So let's start with why we share our professional knowledge. Primarily to gain or retain clients. Secondly, in order to build our reputation within a specialist community. And last, and in some ways the most beneficial, is to expand our knowledge by learning from and contributing to discussions in related subject areas, thus growing our own expertise. How do we distribute our knowledge? There are 3 levels of complexity. At a basic level, we can provide generic guidelines to be searched by anyone on Google. At the other end of the scale, we can respond to unique circumstances in paid-for client advice. And between these two lies the professional freemium that we all share to advance our careers.
Thank you, Tamsin. I'm going to talk briefly about current methods of freemium knowledge sharing and then how we think it can be done better. A lot of you will already share professionally using social media like LinkedIn or Twitter, and it's a great way of building audience and demonstrating knowledge, but there are drawbacks. Firstly, you're at the whim of the algorithm, so you don't know who gets to see your content. Secondly, a large proportion of your audience won't engage, so you have no idea whether your output hits with them or not. And lastly, audience feedback tends to get lost in the mists of time as it disappears down your timeline. Another way many of you will share is at events and increasingly webinars, but these can be quite specific with no easy way to develop the discussion beyond the event itself. So we've combined 2 of our products to develop a platform that uses the webinar to initiate meaningful engagement after an event and a forum to demonstrate your skills and expertise. We've identified 5 steps in this process, which I'll talk about briefly before we go on to look at the platform. So, number 1, capturing your audience. And here we're talking about assembling a group of people with shared interests in a particular subject, so at a webinar. Step 2 is to have the right content to generate discussion and identify areas of interest, having the right contributors who are experts in their field. Step 3, retaining your audience, and this is where the work we're doing really comes to life. We want to use the enthusiasm built up around the event to drive engagement on the platform while the content is still fresh in the audience's mind. As Tamsin will show us shortly, the Senate allows people to drive their questions into actionable answers while allowing the host to demonstrate their professional expertise, which takes us to step 4, converting freemium content given up to this point into sales, as well as cross-selling other services as your audience discovers other areas of expertise that you offer. Finally, step 5, quantifying the results of your knowledge sharing. By concentrating the majority of what you share on one platform, you can easily track the return on your time, as well as seeing issues your customers and potential customers need addressing, which in turn gives you great intelligence for business development. So those are our 5 steps. I'm going to hand back to Tamsin to walk us through the platform.
Thank you, Dickon. This is SenateTalk, our webinar hosting platform. We're on the host page for this event. Below the banner is event content. This can be a group of talks scheduled within one overarching event, either live or pre-recorded, or it could be a series of training modules, or in this case, we're providing Talking Heads bonus content. Do access these after our talk to see a sample of what Senate can do. Our talk is shown here. As you'd expect for a live or pre-recorded online presentation, you can add comments here. What makes SenateTalk different is what happens with these comments. While an audience remains focused on the webinar and contributes comments in this channel here, they are automatically loaded onto the SenateSense platform, capturing the live discussion as it happens. When the event is over, users can continue the conversation, transitioning from SenateTalk to SenateSense. SenateSense is a Q&A platform on which you host your community. Users benefit from shared knowledge to identify consensus and make better decisions faster. You can see here our SenateTalk event, which allows users and speakers to continue to engage with the content. Here are the comments already captured. The energy from the event opens up into ideas for wider discussion, and they remain accessible to new users who can continue to engage with the webinar and add comments at any time. Because of the Q&A format, the webinar title is effectively a conversation starter, and this opens up a broad discussion. Anyone can contribute. In this example, we as speakers have answered with a summary of our talk to encourage engagement, but this can be added to over time and enrich the content. Anyone can turn a comment into a new question to give more directed insights and answers and drive towards more specific information. Here we've got a comment, I'd like to know, do people prefer live talks? We can then turn it into a new question that creates effectively a poll of how people feel about recorded events. What we find is that better questions lead to better answers, and these closed questions can lead to actionable results. Your webinar is effectively a starter motor, and the Q&A platform, the engine that drives the community engagement through continual knowledge exchange.
So, what Tamsin has shown us is the route through, number 1, capturing an audience at a webinar. Secondly, engaging them with relevant content. Next, driving them through to a Senate where their questions can be answered, expanded, clarified and quantified. Then retaining your audience on the Senate, which allows you to upsell and cross-sell your expertise in the future. And lastly, tracking engagement to surface the issues your audience is facing, informing business development going forward. So thank you very much for watching. If you need any more information on the topics we've covered today, please do contact the email address on your screen. Thank you.